Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters Business, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at Ask Adam Torres. And if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Become a Guest to apply. All right, so today I have Osman Dulgeroglu on the line, and he is CEO over at Embrace Relief. Osman, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you for having me in your program. And
So, Osman, I have to tell you, I mean, just to get us kicked off, where we will talk a lot about Embrace Relief today, and we'll also get into some of the programs that you're putting together. I mean, between clean water, your service in Africa, just all these things that you're doing. I'm really excited to bring this content to my audience today. And I guess just to start out with, I just have to say, your background there is way better than mine. What do those little red dots mean? Maybe tell me a little bit more about your background.
right, yeah, those red dots right on the map right behind me, they are representing actually the place of our programs. Either we do, I mean, we have a current program ongoing program, or maybe we did help people in a disaster, and we put a red dots there. There are approximately like 48 countries back there, and we did some programs, and still we have some ongoing programs there.
That's awesome. And maybe we take a step back, because we will go into these programs, but maybe let's take a step back. So how did you get started in your career and on this journey? Like, tell us a little bit more about your story.
I was born in Turkey and moved to United States in 2003. Currently living in New Jersey. I have a bachelor's degree in biology from Marmara University, Istanbul, Turkey. And I have a master's degree in nonprofit administration from Louisiana State University. After I taught biology in middle school and high schools for 10 years, and I used to work as a school principal for 3 years, then I switched to nonprofit sector. I used to work for the nonprofit organizations in executive level for last 14 years. And I'm happy with actually what I am doing in this organization right now.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. And so I see, like what led you? So you had a lot of options, you had a lot of experience. What led you to Embrace Relief? Like, what was that thing that you just made you think like, I have to be here, like this makes sense?
Right. Actually, I used to work for nonprofit organizations for all my lives, but the humanitarian relief is another. Different than all others. The schools that I work, they were also nonprofit organizations, but the nonprofit area or the humanitarian relief area, one of the area that I have a deep passion in helping the people, touching their lives, making an impact. It's attracted me most. So I have invited to this organization by the president of the organization, Nevzat Yilmaz. Nevzat and I became neighbors when I moved to the United States back in 2003. After he invited me to the organization, I accepted to offer right away without any further thinking.
Wow. So let's talk a little bit more about the mission of Embrace Relief, because obviously during this courting period and when they're presenting you the opportunity, like you have to align with the mission. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Right. Embrace Relief is an international humanitarian relief organization located in Fairfield, New Jersey. And we focused on clean water, hunger relief, refugee relief, cataract, and disaster relief areas. Actually, we have 3 more programs, but we concentrated mostly on those programs. Organization founded by 2008 by a group of Turkish Americans living in New York, New Jersey area, which means the organization founded by immigrants. But the still big percentage of the supporters from same community. There's a unique thing for this organization. It has been founded by Turkish Americans, but doesn't have any program in Turkey. We have mostly programs in Africa and South America. So it's actually looks interesting for me, because I saw that many nonprofit organizations, they are intended to help the needy people back in their countries, for the immigrants. I'm saying this. So for this organization, it is like different. It's comes to me, actually, they founded the organization specifically help disaster relief at 2008. But when I started the organization mid 2013, it was my mission also, that mission given to me, to expand the activities in humanitarian relief area as well. Like as I mentioned before, the clean water projects, cataract projects, refugee relief, and all other areas.
Man, what an interesting story. So to think about, like, Turkish immigrants that come together, they create an organization, create a nonprofit, a way to give back, humanitarian relief, and then they decide to do it in other places. So you don't necessarily go back to your motherland in terms of where the organization's at, and you're going to some of the, let's just say, some of the more needy areas, maybe in Africa and other things that are really looking at, like you said, some of those basic needs in terms of programming. I just think that's an amazing story.
Thank you.
So that being said, I do want to go further into maybe some of the actual programs. So you mentioned clean water. That's a big initiative. Can you tell us a little bit more about just that overall? I don't want to assume that everybody watching this kind of understands the problem or the challenge that you have and what you're solving. So can you tell us a little bit more about the clean water initiatives and maybe the problem behind it and what you're looking to accomplish?
Yes, Embrace Relief has clean water projects, and we have completed 380 water wells so far.
Wow.
These water wells provide clean drinking water for more than 380,000 people every day. Of course, there are other many other nonprofit organizations that construct water wells as well. But two things make us unique in the constructing the water well. Is the first, we always dig deep enough. I mean, more than 150 feet to get fully sanitized water, because the earth levels are filtrating the water and cleaning the water. So if you go deep 150 feet, then it's the water is completely clean and out of any germ, any disease-making cause. Second thing is we never abandon the water wells that we constructed. So we saw a lot of water wells in Africa has been abandoned. If you abandon the water wells, these are mechanical things, then they broke. And the local people, they don't have ability to repair those water wells. So we assign the water well to a local person, and we provide every information, every contact information to him or her that's who's gonna reach us if any problem happen in the water well.
Wow.
And we train them to handle basic problems. Additionally, our team periodically check all water wells we have constructed. Still, we are not giving the things just on them. We are checking our water wells ourselves, at least once a year. All water wells, we are getting reports from all water wells and their current conditions. And this is all the cost on us. It's not make any cost onto donors or onto the people of the village. So water, it is the source of life. Constructing a water well to a village is not only providing clean drinking water, but also changing all nature of that village. The village start to grow. Like we actually oversee this in many project area. When we do a water well in a village in the size of, let's say that 20 houses, next year it is increasing to 40 houses. And
Wow.
besides, the people from around moving to that area because there is clean drinking water. Otherwise, they have to walk miles to get clean drinking water.
Wow.
So new families arriving to area, villagers start to farming because they have water. Even they open marketplace. They produce products and they sell those products. Provides a foundation for a thriving community.
That's amazing. And I like that you bring up the fact that, it's for growth. So that's what we're doing here. And you're creating economies. And one of the things that I always like about water projects is that especially the way you're doing it, because I have heard of some of the other things that you mentioned going on where it's, but the way that you're doing it with making sure that the water well stays functional, repairs, other things like that, and really checking in, is that you're going about it almost like, obviously it's a nonprofit, but I like to always say that the profit is in the good that you're doing. So you're really watching your investment and that water well and your investment in the community, not just in the assets, but in the time, in the trust of the people that are receiving some of the help, and then also in those economies that you're building. Like, you're protecting your investments. You're going about this like a business and an investment.
Yes.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I love it. So let's get into some more of the projects that you're working on. So I know you do a lot of work with refugees and around refugee work. Tell us a little bit more about that, please.
Yes, Embrace Relief has been helping the refugees since 2014. We have started with the Syrian refugees at that date. So we have delivered 29 containers of blankets, coats, and clothing to the Syrian refugees living in Iraq and Turkey. We have provided hot meals to 4,000 refugees in Turkey-Syria border for 1 year. So we supported a school that's serving to Syrian refugees in Turkey for 1 year. There were like 350 students, and we paid all the rent, all the building salaries of the teachers, and all the expenses again for 1 year. And while Turkey became a home for the millions of the refugees, unfortunately these days, tens of thousands of Turkish citizens are fleeing their country and becoming refugees in surrounding countries. Because of the political unrest started at 2014. Many of those families have no paperwork, no jobs, no language skills. They are virtually helpless.
Wow.
They are escaping from their homes to protect themselves and their children from being arrested and tortured. I have two brothers. One is brain surgeon and other one is computer engineer. Both of them fled from Turkey and became asylees in the US. They left everything behind. They are not able to practice their job. They have a language barrier. Their kids left their college behind and they started from scratch again.
Wow.
And these are happening in the 21st century. And this is just a glimpse of the life of the refugees. One of my brother has the brain surgeon one. And he's still a brain surgeon. He is a very successful brain surgeon. He has conducted, he mentioned once, that 4,500 surgeries.
Wow.
And never failed one.
Wow.
This is the brain. He is working with the brain and never failed one.
Wow.
And there's a restaurant for him because he has a bank account in a certain bank that government accept that bank is enemy of the government. And he sent his schools, he sent his children to a school which is accepted by the government, that school is not supporting the government, current party.
Wow.
Current governing party. That's all. They are not supporting it. And there was another thing, that just he was purchasing a newspaper which was the widely distributed newspaper of the country. Can you imagine? Those are the reasons he's gonna get arrested if he go back to his country. In many other countries also, refugees has these type of problems. Since 2018, Embrace Relief has decided to help the refugees in Greece. And we are providing emergency housing and rent assistance to 265 families right now. And we are serving 2,000 refugee kids in our free online after-school program named First Bricks, where we have registered students 8, 9 years old who are not able to properly read or write. And it's tragic. 9, 8 years old kid never go to school. A refugee kid traveling from country to country. This is because refugee children often miss years of the schools because they must hide maybe in their own country, then because avoid unlawful prosecution. And when the refugees flee from their country, the journey, the asylum process, it's taking months, maybe years. Then the children are not able to attend the school. They are changing their place, their country. Furthermore, there is a language barrier if they arrive the final place, final country, and they are losing a lot of time. So we are trying to, when we register a student, we never cut our contact. I mean, we continuously give that education where they travel, when they travel. It's not changing anything because it's an online program and not a school, of course, but still we are trying to do how much we can do. And this is all has been done by the volunteer teachers. We have over 100 volunteer teachers serving those kids.
Wow, what an amazing story, and what a great service that Embrace Relief is providing to these refugees in various areas, and really just addressing some of the problems and the hardships. When I think about like organizations like yours, I'm like, man, every bit helps. Every person, every child, every piece of education that you're mentioning. So I know maybe some of the people, myself included, that are either watching this or listening to this, maybe sometimes we take for granted the idea of even just having some of these things like an opportunity for education, right? Or an opportunity to stay in the same place, the same city, or the same home, or the same anything, and not necessarily fearing for your whole way of being or way of life, like your brother, because you're doing something that the current regime doesn't agree with.
Right.
Wow. Let's continue to go further into Embrace Relief. So I know that a big initiative are health projects that you work on. So tell us a little bit more about that, please.
Yeah, health initiative primarily in Mali, Africa, where we have 3 medical clinics and a mobile health clinic. This mobile health clinic is a truck, and it has 3 rooms in it. 1 surgery room for cataract and eye diseases, another room for dental operations, and 1 waiting room, or the room for the checkups, health checkups. And we have a van. The van is traveling to. It has a room in it only for checkups. It's going to villages and doing the health checkups over there. Our volunteer doctors is traveling with that van. And people is in these villages that we are traveling and doing the health checkup have little or no access to proper health care. Many of them never see a doctor in their whole life.
Wow.
And when our mobile clinic, we are sending the mobile clinic to remote areas that they cannot travel also to our clinic. The city, our clinic is located in the Bamako, the capital city of the Mali. So if we are traveling to far cities that they cannot travel to capital city to come to our clinics for checkup, we are doing health checkup in the first day when they arrive to the city. Then if we find some diseases that we can cure right away, cataract is one of them. And second day, we conducted the cataract surgeries. Then the third day, they are coming back for checkup. And they are doing the checkup, final checkups. And the 4th, 5th day, they are coming back. So it is like 5 days operation. And they are traveling, doing the surgeries and coming back. If our doctors find some diseases that they cannot treat, then they help them to access a fully equipped hospital to be traded. I mean, at least they are detecting that illnesses. If I mean the locals has some disease, even they don't aware of. So our doctors is finding that and helping them to access the health system to get help.
Wow.
The most distinguishing part of the mobile clinic is the ability for doctors, of course, to perform the surgery on the site. I mean, it is a good opportunity for them because when you, if the distance we travel to do health checkup is a close distance, they can travel to the capital city to get the cataract surgery and get help. But there are many people, they don't have money to travel. Even they don't able to travel to capital city to get the help, to get cataract surgery. So this is an opportunity also for them. The cataract is a actually common disease throughout Africa, and it is caused by malnutrition, prolonged exposure to the sunlight, and excessive dust. Cataract is known as a disease for elderly people in the developed countries, developed world. But in the United States, we can say that like people has cataract maybe after 70 years old, 80 years old. But we have had the patients as young as 9 months old. Had cataract in both eyes.
Oh, wow.
A kid 9 months old. That has been actually just 1 month ago. One of the patients was in this, they found in a visit to a foreign city, and then they invited, actually this kid is very little, so our volunteer doctors they didn't want to risk his life or anything. Then they invited this kid to the capital city for conduct the surgery in a fully equipped hospital. We have done. I mean, we are charging actually $100 for our donors for the cataract surgery of one person, and also health checkup of 15 others. But we paid $1,000 for that kid for that hospital to solve his problem. I mean, this is a very young kid. I mean, he has his whole life in front of him. Right? We have many young boys and girls. I saw in the list, actually, the picture. We are receiving the pictures and the list and the all details who has been get benefits from those surgeries. And I see like many kids in 9 years old, 10 years old, 14 years old, girls, boys, young mothers in their age of 30. They're supposed to take care of their children, but their children are taking care of them because they are not able to eat themselves. They are not able to wash their body themselves, and they need help in basic needs of the human body. And those kids, I mean, this disease, which is a, easily preventable disease, prohibits them from enjoying their childhood, affect their future if it's not treated. And the treatment, it is like simple. I mean, a surgery, which is costing us like $100, not only surgery, but also the checkups of the other 15 people. And we have been able to complete 3,000 surgeries in the last 5 years and 46,000 health checkups so far.
That's amazing. And to think about like the impact you're making on these lives of, I mean, these are young kids, some of them you mentioned, and to not be able to see or to lose your sight or to have all these things for something that's essentially curable, right? I mean, you're essentially giving them back their life because maybe it wasn't quite an easy life in the first place. And so to be able to work and do other things, like you're giving them the ability to produce and to help their families and other things. So, I mean, it's just amazing. Let's go. So we've talked about, various things that Embrace Relief is doing. So you're helping with a lot of basic needs. So your water, right? Fundamental need for life, water. You're helping with refugees. So a place to stay, a place to, a place to thrive, and a new beginning, if you will. helping people with the health checkups, big deal. Another very vital and core, basic need of human life is food, right? Hunger relief. So I know hunger relief is another big tenet or a big mission that Embrace Relief is behind. So tell us a little bit more about your activities there.
I'd like to share a personal story with you, which became the reason to start Embrace Relief Hunger Program. In 2015, I traveled to Haiti with a group of volunteer doctors to conduct health checkups in the orphanages. We have visited 6 orphanages in that trip. During the health checkups in one of the orphanage, there were two children who were extremely sick. And the doctors reported that they had 1 week to live if they were not hospitalized right away. Wow. I asked the orphanage director why they weren't in the hospital. And she said that if they were to spend their money for treatment of these 2 children, then the entire orphanage would be under risk and will suffer. Mm. Understandably, I asked if we could take the children to the hospital and sponsor their treatment, which was happily accepted. And we sent one of our doctors with one of the caretakers. They took the children to the hospital. And the children are hospitalized 1 week, for 1 week. And the total cost for us was $250. Only $250, which saved their lives. Wow. By the end of our trip, one of main findings was that malnutrition is the number one cause for all diseases they see in orphanages. They saw at the time in orphanages. After this trip, we decided to distribute food packages to the orphanages in Haiti, and we have reached 20 orphanages in 1 year. This was the spark that ignited our mission to make hunger relief one of our main programs. Since this trip to Haiti, Embrace Relief has distributed over 1,500,000 pounds of food all over the world. We do by sending food packages, cooking supplies packages, stocking food pantries, building soup kitchen. Every year, we distribute food packages roughly 20,000 families in US and around the globe. The smile and appreciation we receive from every person we help touch our hearts. And I believe this is also a very important project that we have.
What an amazing story, and what an amazing thing to do. And just for you to be on the ground there and to see that and to help those children, and then just to think about how you can build on that and what's next, like what more can you do? And I can see that for Embrace Relief overall as a nonprofit, as an organization, as the people behind it and the supporters, it looks like that's a big thing. Like what's next? How can we help more? And speaking of, what's next? I know as we're recording this right now in 2021 now, Q1 of 2021, we're still kind of in the middle of the pandemic, COVID, a lot of things still going on, a lot of uncertainty in this world. And a big deal is a lot of people making the move to virtual and transitioning to virtual, and what that looks like, and not just in corporate America, but nonprofits also. How is this move, or how is Embrace Relief moving to virtual, whether it's, I don't know, whether it's for fundraising or reaching out or just in general? Like, tell us a little bit more about how you've been affected.
Yeah. Over the past decade, the world has shifted to telecommunication rather than personal communication. If you are on a train and look around, almost everyone is focused on their phones, where they are texting, scrolling through the social media, and looking things up. This can even be seen in our own homes and the place that we are together with other people. Embrace Relief knows this and use it to our advantage by crafting our social media platforms to be a space where people can learn about our programs, interact with us, and easily donate. We are able to directly connect with our donors via Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Flickr. And emails, which create a strong bond between us.
Mm.
Coincidentally, 90% of our donations come from online.
Mm.
We understand that social media and the internet is the way people interact and communicate with each other. And we want to be a part of that conversation. We made our website available for the group fundraising for community centers, public schools, and any other groups. They are able to raise money for their project throughout our website. And we are helping these groups to implement their project in the country they selected. We made necessary arrangements for their travel to the project site. We have groups that support us from Spain, from Hong Kong, from Bulgaria. And they have who has reached us over our social media accounts so far. So I believe that the social media and telecommunication very important for all nonprofit organizations. And it's even getting more important year after.
And so what kind of, I love this story, and I think the more than, and just as you're naming multiple countries coming together to help embrace relief, to get behind the projects, what kind of trends or feedback are you getting from donors and like their response to this?
Actually, donors, I mean, those are the donors that I mentioned, the countries. I mean, the donors reach us from social media accounts. The project that I mentioned actually attract their attention a lot because they can do their project. Of course, these projects, they should select in the project that we currently have, that we can help them more. And they can select the country, let's say that a group could do a water well project for themselves. We have groups now doing water well project from Hong Kong, from Spain. And these people reached us from online and now continue their project. But we have a lot of groups from public schools, universities here from United States that they are doing their project. Of course, they are at the same time the donors and also our supporters and our volunteers while we are doing this project. So the feedback from them, I can measure that with our increasing programs every year. So in 2019, we have completed 30 water wells, but in 2020, we have completed 56 water wells.
Wow.
Now our goal is to complete 75 water wells in 2021. And we have reached to 20 already. Last but not least, we will continue focus on donor acquisition and retention. The accountability and transparency is the most important thing. When while we are reporting to our donors from the region, from the project sites, what we are doing, how we're using the funds they are provided to us, how it's affecting the life of the people, then it's increasing their inclusion to all projects and increase their support as well.
Man, Osman, what an amazing story to bring to my audience today. I really appreciate you coming on the show and sharing about Embrace Relief. So that being said, if somebody is listening to this and if they want to get involved and they want to support and contribute to Embrace Relief and also just to learn more about your work overall, what's the best way for them to do that?
And they can reach us from our website, www.embracerelief.org, and all our social media accounts also with Embrace Relief usernames, and they can reach with the Embrace Relief. When they write the Embrace Relief, they will find out all our social media accounts on Google and also our website also there.
Fantastic.
So I would like to thank you for hosting me in your program. And it's really a good opportunity for us to reach out a broad community and make the people know about our programs and organization itself.
Oh man, well, thank you. And it's definitely an honor to have you on the show and to bring this to my audience. And let's just one more time have you leave that website. We'll put it in the show notes again, but I want people to go check it out because you're doing some amazing work. So the website again, please.
www.embracerelief.org.
Fantastic. Well, Osman, appreciate you coming on the show again. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. Hope you learned a lot. If you did, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. We 100% want you to come back and be a return viewer. And Osman, thanks again for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure.